Today we're ranking the best midfielders so far in FIFA 22. Got all the new promo cards from Future Stars, Tour of the Finals, etc. We got it all in here. So let's get straight into the list. Can we get 80 likes on this video? If you guys are new, remember to subscribe. Anyways, let's continue. Are you fed up of coming against God Squad game in and game out?
What?
If so, make sure to head over to u7buy.com using the link in the description below. And don't forget to use code RAN at checkout for an extra little discount. Now, as you can see by the title, we do have midfielders cards. That's a lot of cards. This is a lot of cards, but we're gonna fly through it, doing a very, very effective, precise tier list. So let's get to it. First off, we got my guy Awa. Now, I'll be honest, big fan of him, but after the Team of the Year power curve kinda ruined it a little bit, he did fall down to B tier. Still a great box-to-box midfielder with that finish shot trait. Next, got Bellingham. Simple S tier, got everything, pretty much absolutely everything. Sensational midfielder, not much needs to be said. The Cam Brahim Diaz, great card to be honest. The sprint speed a little slow, but at Cam you're probably okay. 5-star weak for 4-star skills, all the key stats, definitely an A tier card. I'll actually leave him at the bottom of S tier for now. Later on in the video that might be changed. So one of the newest cards on this list is Amir Chan. Now, he is the perfect stay back midfielder. Has the 4-star weak foot as well. Great passing, but obviously the crazy good defensive physical. Decent pace and can pop a long shot. For me, I'm actually going to start him at the end of S tier as well. I think this is a really, really good card. 6'1". You just can't go wrong. Capoue now is a really, really good option. But once again, slightly behind the times. Just a little slow. Gonna keep him down in that B tier beside Awa. I think this CDM Chalaba is mad underrated. He's going straight to the top of A tier for me, mainly because of his dribbling. It's just really, really high, being 6'3" as well, and got all the important stats as well as the 4-star weak foot. Kuna is meta in absolutely every stat. Gonna put him in A tier. The lack of a 5-star is definitely gonna keep him just outside the S tier, but a really, really good card nonetheless. Damsgaard is the ultimate super sub nowadays. Only thing kind of letting him down is that's a little bit low, as well as 4-star once again. So he's going to be chilling in A tier. Danny Olmo does sit at the top of B tier. He doesn't quite get into A because of his low pace. Even though at Cam, that's not the most important factor. If we're talking top cards, you need the 90 pace. Signature De Bruyne still sitting in A tier. Now, obviously, he's fallen a bit back since he came out, but still a really good card. Does lack the pace and defense that I can't let him get S tier at all, especially compared to these cards like Bellingham. But this card really, really good, especially with the agility and balance upgrade it has over the gold card. But one card that is S tier is of course his Team of the Year. Now, I prefer him slightly to that Bellingham, but you could go either way. The Bellingham obviously has better defense, but De Bruyne has like better shooting and that 5-star weak foot. De Jong we're going to chuck up in A tier as well. I'm actually going to put him at the top. Really nice player. The problem this year is he's more of a box-to-box with that high-medium work rate, but doesn't have the shooting to be a box-to-box, so whilst he's good at dribbling and passing, the shooting can let him down. Draxler in the hour was pretty good for a while, but then did fall off quite quickly after Team of the Year power curve, unfortunately, but still a great attacking midfielder or that box-to-box role with the 5-star weak foot. LMS, another solid B tier card, 5-star skills as well, not that it's that important, but honestly, he's just solid all around, and 82 pace is not too bad at all. Itabo is another very similar card. I'll put him just below Almaz because Almaz has 5-star skills, but that card is really, really solid and a good Premier League option. Now this Fekir still slots himself into A tier. I don't know why this card is so good. I say it every time. There was just something about him makes him really, really effective, and honestly, I don't know what it is. Like, obviously he's relatively meta, but he just plays way better than the stat. First entry into C tier will be this Fellaini. I feel like he's extremely outdated now, but also kind of the 3-star weak for 3-star skills kind of lets him down. He also doesn't have quite good enough defending to play as that CDM role. So just a few flaws here and there. Team of the year, honorable mentions Bruno, sitting at that S tier up here. Really, really good card. I don't like the 3-star weak for Bruno this year. I feel like it does hurt him. Obviously, pace and defense just a little low. Obviously, at box to box, it's not the biggest issue. Ultimately, there is a good few better options in the game at the moment. Now, this Phil Foden, I really disrespected in my team of the year tier list. He is a very good card. 4-star, 4-star, crazy all-round meta stats. Really no issue at all. He has to slot in at the end of that S tier. Big fan of this card. Player of the month for Fana. Oh, how I love and hate this card. I'm gonna drop him down below this hour. Now that's gonna be very controversial because a lot of people do like this for Fana. For me, I just hated his dribbling. I just didn't enjoy him at all. His defense was okay, you know, a bit of physical, okay pace. But for me, not the biggest fan. He probably could be an A tier card if you kind of like how he plays in game. For me, just not a fan. Fred sits up here in B tier again. Pretty nice, nimble midfielder, all round very solid. Obviously can't shoot, which does limit him just a little bit. This Conor Gallagher card is actually really solid. I'm going to put him at the top of B tier. The issue is that he kind of, with the low agility, his dribbling isn't the best, and he has 3-star skills going forward, was kind of an issue, and then his defense isn't quite high enough to play as that stay back midfielder, so it's kind of hard to find the exact perfect position to play him in. Next we have the new Gomez. I think this card's quite underrated. I'm slotting him in B tier as well. His shooting is a little bit low. It is low, but I do just love the pace to dribbling and passing on this card. So for me, I'm living with that low shooting and definitely slotting him in at B tier. Now this Goretzka is a funny one. On paper, he looks incredible. Got all such good stats, but if you guys have played with him in game, he just doesn't live up to the billing. We're gonna put him at the end of A tier. We'll put him just above these guys, but like looking at the stats, he should be probably in S tier. But when it comes to playing with him in game, I don't know why. I can't decide. But he just doesn't live up to his stats whatsoever. The Road to Knockouts Gravenberch is a very underrated card in my opinion, but still not too amazing. We're gonna put him in the middle of B tier. Really good all round, but kind of lacks a bit of defense. Lacks that standout stat, even though he is a very solid player. Would recommend him as a sub in that midfield role, because he's only like 22k nowadays. But an easy starter and one of the best enemies on the game is the Future Stars Gravenberch. This card is just different. The stats, ridiculous. 4-star, 4-star. You just can't go wrong. He's got absolutely everything you could want in a midfielder. Guendouzi has become a little outdated. We're still going to put him in B tier. Was an incredible card when he was new. Now, all his stats being mid to low 80s are just a little behind the curve, but still a great card and a great option. Savage is a pretty average card. I'm going to slot him in B tier. The kind of lack of agility and balance that he has, being 6'2", makes him not feel great to turn with in game. And his shooting, other than kind of his positioning, isn't that great. So overall, just kind of struggles in what the FIFA meta is nowadays. Team of the Year, Jorginho, easily chilling in S tier. I'm going to put him there. Behind Gravenberch and Bellingham. I feel like their height really just separates them in midfield and makes them a huge presence compared to Jorginho. But just Jorginho card is still incredible. The new Kamara that recently came out looks like a really good card. I actually packed him untradeable. I'm a fan of him, so I'm actually going to slot him just behind this Goretzka. Really solid card. Would love to see it get some upgrades. Mr. Gold Kante, I'm going to slot in here. He is just a little bit worse than that Guendouzi, but he's still really good. The defensive AI doesn't get any better than on Kante in this game. Team of the Year Kante, however, is the best midfielder in the game outside of icons still. I don't think he's going to get caught before Team of the Season, to be honest. Maybe FUT Birthday has a chance. Next up we got Kessie, who was actually a really early card this year, but he's going to be chilling in B tier nowadays. Just the stats not quite there, but still a good option. Next we have Keita, who once again is kind of a box-to-box midfielder that can't shoot, which is a bit of an issue. So we're going to slot him into B tier just behind Kante. Still an okay card, but nothing special. We have Clivert here, who I'm going to put at the end of B tier. He has pace and dribbling, but outside of that, nothing really special at all. Kovacic is the actual definition of a box-to-box midfielder who can't shoot. I'm going to slot him here at the end of B tier because I just don't think there's a position you can play this card in game. You can't play him as a box-to-box because he can't shoot. You can't play him as a CDM because his defense is too low. He's just a card that's solid but just has no role in FIFA teams. Signature signing Llorente, going to be chilling up in A tier. Very solid card. I'm going to put him just behind De Bruyne. But then his new road to the finals, I'm going to put just in front of De Bruyne. Obviously, just slight extra boost, I think, take him just a little bit clear of that signature De Bruyne card. This new Mane, who really should be an attacker, but he's cam, and that's why I base these tier lifts off. We'll be slotting in here at S tier. Phenomenal card. Would be arguably nearly at the top if he had a 5-star stat, but obviously he's still 4-star, 4-star. But as you know, with a Mane, he just has all the meta stats covered. Milinkovic-Savic, gonna chill in here. B tier. Was a solid little card for about a week only, but the pace really does let him down. So he's solid, but nothing too special. The new player of the month, Muller, that pretty much everybody has done it for fodder, will be down in this D tier, as this card is just not usable in any position, in my opinion. Potentially in midfield if you give him a shadow, but I would not recommend him. If you had to use Muller, you had the chance at this flashback, who I'm going to put in C tier as well. Just not a fan of this card at all. I don't think it's good. Now we got the Winter Modric, who's going to be chilling up here. Put him here in S tier. Towards the end of S tier nonetheless, but still in S tier. Really solid card. And this Modric can actually defend, which is huge, because normally that's kind of the area he is lacking. Once again, I find myself talking about a box-to-box that can't shoot, and Ndombele even has one West. He has the 3-star weak foot. Will definitely be slotting in a C tier, as he is very borderline unusable. Mr. Headliners in Kunku. Now he is usable. One thing to remember about this card, you go to traits, he does have the finesse shot trait with great shooting stats, so you can bang them in, as well as having all those other beautiful stats. For me, chilling at S tier, just slightly behind that Modric. Freo, pretty average card, but nice little bit of pace. I'm gonna slot him here in B tier. The lack of defending is definitely an issue. So we got this new DePaul card, and you can put a shadow on him and kind of make him slightly viable, or you can make him a box-to-box, but with a 3-star weak foot is a bit of a pain. So he's just going to slot once again into that B tier. Solid, but nothing special whatsoever. Pedri is sensational. He is actually going to go above De Bruyne, but just behind Kante. Got absolutely everything, except does obviously lack a little bit of height. Has the 5-star skills as well. Fantastic card. Pogba. I think this Pogba is actually quite underrated. I'm going to put him at the top of A tier. I think he's got pretty much it all. His defense is slightly low, but honestly, really, really good card. Very meta, but just doesn't get utilized nearly enough. Next we have Smith Rowe. Fantastic card. Has the 5-star weak foot as well. We're going to chuck him actually above Mane, thanks to that 5-star weak foot. Really good cam, or you can even play him winger with that 9-3 pace, 9-1 dribbling, but he has 6 foot. Won't be the most agile if you do opt to play him on the wing. Signature Ronaldo. I love this card every year. I always love Ronaldo special cards, but this card is definitely fallen behind the times. I'm gonna slot him here into A tier, kind of mid A tier. Nidat Llorente. What's a real gem and an absolutely unbelievable card. Gets close. I am gonna have to put him behind Jorginho. Jorginho is better. Let's not get ahead of myself, but still a fantastic card. I think the defense is still a little bit low to be contending with anybody ahead of him on this list. But yeah, Ronaldo, ultimate meta card. Got absolutely everything except that defense. Needs to be a bit higher, but sensational card, and feels incredible at dribbling in game with that really high balance and low height. Next we got this San Gary guy. Honestly, his defense and physical is really solid. You can sub him on if you have a lead and you want to just maintain it. I'm gonna put him here in B tier. I'm actually gonna put him above DePaul because I think he actually has more use in game. You can argue with me if you want in the comments about that, but there's no way he's better than Kante. Savanier, a really solid card. Once again, just kind of lacks a stand out. You don't know, is he quite a box to box, but then his shooting and pace isn't too high. And then his defense is definitely too low to play as a holding center mid. So it's just a bit of an awkward one once again. But 4-star, nice dribbling and passing. Team in the group stage, Bernardo Silva. Solid card we're going to chuck in here. I really like this card. I think he's really good in game. I do think the weak foot does obviously hurt. And with that pace being 83, you can only really play him at cam and not as a winger, which kind of limits his functionality. If you need a cam for your team, he can be quite effective, so slot him in at the middle of B2. Now, I have no idea how to pronounce this player's name, but what I do know is that 68 balance and being 6'1" is a big problem, and for that reason, he's going to end up towards the bottom of B2, because you can have all the shooting, passing, dribbling stats you like, but you don't have that balance stat, and you're 6'1", it's gonna be an issue and you're not gonna be able to dribble in game. Next guy, Al Tarat, who's still on my bench. Really good card. I think he's very underrated. I'm gonna put him in the middle of B tier. 5-star skills as well is very nice, and he's so cheap. You can use him as a sub no matter what your budget is. Second in form, Chumeni, slotting beside Capoue. They are very similar cards. I think Capoue is marginally better. Just your standard, relatively tall, decent defense and physical CDM. But this future stars Chumeni, however, sensational. We're going to put him just behind Renato. Got absolutely everything a stay back while attacking CDM or center mid needs in the game. Simple as. Pair him with a good box to box and you're going to dominate midfield. Here we got Tolisso. Pretty solid card. I'm going to chuck him at the end of A tier. Really well rounded in pretty much everything. Obviously, to get into S tier, he would need maybe that defense and pace to be a little higher. Definitely is enough to get in that A tier. Uribe is actually a really underrated card this year as well. Gonna chuck him at the end of, oh, well, more towards the middle of B tier. You know, he's still a gang. He's always gonna be decent, but no real standouts is what keeps him away from a higher tier. This Valverde is definitely chilling in A tier. Very, very good card. Would definitely recommend if you have a La Liga team. It's just the pace. Having 89 pace on a center mid that actually has good defense, physical, has high stamina, is a really solid card. 4-star weak foot as well, I believe. Can't go wrong. Verratti with, unfortunately, his lack of shooting, lack of pace, and okay defense. Gonna have to slot in here beside Ndombele and Fellaini in this C tier, unfortunately. Vidal, very solid card. I'm actually going to chuck him up here near the top of B tier. The thing about him is he's got good shooting as well as underrated defense and physical. Very, very solid card. Second last, we got Sinuan Aldum. Arguably one of the worst SBCs this year. It's a shame because he has so much potential to be a good card, but he just hasn't got those upgrades. We're going to slot him in here near the end of B tier. I still kind of like him. You know, pretty solid, really good dribbling and 4-star, but can't shoot, pace is a bit low, has his flaws here and there. Now the newest SPC, Mr. Ozil, is actually going to fly up to A tier. Now, the thing with this Ozil, you got the 5-star skills and you got good shooting, as well as good pace. When have you seen an Ozil card like that? You haven't. So, very, very good card. And that rounds off the tier list. I'm thinking, does Chan deserve to be up there? You know what? I'll live with it. Is he better than Pogba? No. Let me swap Pogba. Bring Chan down here. I think that looks about right. Looking pretty solid. Those S tier guys are cracked, especially the top S tiers. B tier looking pretty good as well. Then C and D, yeah, pretty dead. So guys, if you disagree with any of the tier list, let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.